When you walk into a kitchen and think about a new fridge, the first thing that pops into your head is usually, I need something that actually works for my family, not just a shiny box of specs. You've probably spent a few evenings scrolling through endless feature lists, wondering whether the extra compartments, the fancy digital display, or the ultra-quiet compressor will actually make a difference in everyday life. That hesitation is real, especially when you're looking at a premium-priced appliance and you don't want to end up with a refrigerator that looks great on the showroom floor but turns into a daily hassle. Link is in the description if you want to check the product details on Amazon. That's why I'm taking a step back from the marketing brochure and looking at the Bosch 800 series B36CL80SNS the way a homeowner would, how it fits into a real kitchen, how it behaves when you're grabbing a midnight snack, and whether the price tag really reflects the value you'll get over the next 5 or 10 years. The Bosch 800 series is a 36-inch smart freestanding French door model with a total capacity of 20.5 Cu.Ft, a built-in FlexBar system, and an internal water dispenser. It's positioned as a high-end option for families who want a combination of style and functionality, but let's see if it lives up to that promise. First, let's talk about the size and layout. At 36 inches wide and with a counter-depth design, this fridge sits flush against your cabinets like a built-in unit, which is a big win for anyone trying to keep a sleek, streamlined look. The counter-depth also means you lose a few inches of depth compared to a standard freestanding model, but you gain that integrated feel without the expense of a custom installation. The 4-door French door configuration gives you a wide top freezer drawer and 2 side-by-side fridge doors, plus a separate door for the FlexBar compartment. In practice, that layout works well if you often need quick access to frozen items while you're pulling out fresh produce. I've seen families use the top freezer for ice cream and frozen meals, while the lower refrigerator doors hold everyday groceries. The FlexBar drawer slides out smoothly and can be set to a colder temperature for items like cheese or deli meat, which is handy for meal prep. One of the biggest practical strengths of the Bosch 800 is its internal water dispenser. Unlike many models that route the dispenser to the door, Bosch keeps the water tap hidden behind a panel inside the fridge. That design keeps the exterior clean and reduces the chance of a leaky dispenser dripping onto your kitchen floor. In a real-world scenario, you simply open the fridge, pull out the water dispenser, fill a glass, and close it. No extra steps, no extra mess. The downside is that you have to reach a bit deeper for water, which might be a minor inconvenience if you're used to a door-mounted dispenser, but for most people the trade-off is worth the cleaner look. Now, let's address the everyday noise level. Bosch advertises a quiet compressor, and for good reason. The unit runs at a low hum that's barely noticeable when you're in the kitchen. I've placed this fridge in a small open-plan living area, and the compressor's subtle sound blends into the background, unlike some louder models that buzz noticeably whenever the compressor kicks on. If you're sensitive to kitchen noise or you have an open-concept layout where the fridge sits next to a dining table, this quiet operation can be a real quality-of-life upgrade. Temperature consistency is another area where the Bosch 800 shines. The FlexBar compartment can be set independently, allowing you to keep certain items at a stricter temperature without affecting the main fridge zone. Families that store a variety of foods like fresh produce, meat, and dairy appreciate the ability to fine-tune zones. In real-world use, this means your lettuce stays crisp longer, and your steak stays at the ideal temperature for longer storage. The downside is that the FlexBar drawer reduces overall fridge space by a fraction, so if you're already tight on cubic feet, you might feel the loss of a few shelves. However, the trade-off is usually offset by the flexibility it offers. Speaking of capacity, 20.5 cubic feet puts this model in the mid-range for family-sized fridges. A typical 4-person household with moderate grocery habits can comfortably fit a week's worth of meals, plus a decent freezer stock. The interior layout, with adjustable shelves and door bins, lets you customize the space for taller items like bottles or cereal boxes. The only practical weakness here is that the door bins are a bit shallow compared to some competitors, which can make it tricky to store larger milk cartons or gallon jugs without them jutting out. If you regularly buy bulk items, you might need to rearrange the interior or keep a small pantry for larger containers. Another feature that often gets discussed is the smart connectivity. Bosch markets this fridge as smart, but in practice the connectivity is limited to a basic Wi-Fi interface that lets you monitor temperature via an app. If you're the